signs you could have stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun? Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy?
New?
New?
New.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
All right, today is February 20th, 2022. It is 5:44 a.m. This is video, I will say 2, but the first recording that I did has 2 parts to it, and I have to separate them. But this one, I'm going to focus on the Cambridges. All right, and probably I might squeeze Andrew. All right, so let's go on Twitter. So many things are going on. That one was on one of the last video. All right, so this is the first tweet. This is effing outrageous. Mental health helpline funded by Royal Share users conversation. I'll go into this later, but let me read some of the comments here. Okay, this will deter people from seeking help. Trust and confidentiality are cornerstone of mental health treatment. This is effing evil. Okay, everything those to touch turn to shit. Okay, confidentiality is an essential tenet of mental health treatment. How effing dare they do this? I'm absolutely incensed by this as a retired mental health provider. Evil. Okay, so the royals are doing the Mark Zuckerberg thing by selling information data in exchange for $1 million. Why not name the exact royal? Prince Andrew? Nah, it's Kate and William. While Prince Andrew is on the gutter, they're making him take everything with him. Nah. All right, so now I'm going into that, the Observer. All right, and I probably will read that article. Okay, mental health helpline funded by the Royal Share users conversation. All right, let's see here. Some of the comments. Let's just go straight into it. All right, and I will leave the article in the description, the link, that's what it is, link in the description. This is very sad indeed. All right, mental health helpline funded by Royal Share users conversation. Experts have serious ethical concern over shout a service backed by the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. I mean, what is it? From the Meghan's lawsuit, we find out certain things cannot be approved without the senior royals. So they must have a say to it. And I think I will treat that the same way.
Have been, as we know, is that the Mail on Sunday had the ruling against them in February, and they were then appealing it. So it was lawyers from the Mail on Sunday who would have approached Jason Naff, knowing that these emails and messages existed. That would have been the point, and unless, I mean, the most likely outcome is that Jason obviously would have then gone to William and Kate, and clearly he has cooperated. He would not have cooperated with those lawyers without their definite knowledge.
My goodness, what the hell is wrong with these people? All right, the UK's biggest crisis text line for people needing urgent mental health support gave third-party researchers access to millions of messages from children and other vulnerable users despite a promise never to do so. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is sad. How are these people gonna feel about that? And this is why I said the Brexit. They really wanted that because they could have the court system under their disposal. So how are they gonna sue these people? Okay, I mean, they're gonna need to, oh my God. So, it's so wrong in so many levels. Shout, a helpline launched with a £3 million investment from a Royal Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, says it offers a confidential service for people struggling to cope with issues such as suicidal thoughts, self-harm, abuse, and bullying. FAQ section and its website had said that while, quote, anonymized and aggregate high-level data from messages was passed to trusted academy partners for research to improve the service. Quote, individual conversation cannot and will not ever be shared, end quote. But that promise was deleted from the site last year, and access to millions of messages from people, including children under 13, oh my God, has since been given to third-party researchers, The Observer had found. Mental Health Innovation, the charity that runs the helpline, said all users agree to terms of services that allow data to be shared with researchers for studies that will, quote, ultimately benefit those who use our service and the broader population. But that, oh my God, but let me read. But the findings have led to a backlash among privacy experts, data ethics, and people who use the helpline, who said the data sharing raised ethical concern. More than 10.8 million messages from 271,445 conversations between February 2018 and April 2020 were used in a project with Imperial College London aimed at creating tools that use artificial intelligence to predict behavior, including, for instance, suicidal thought. I mean, they should have let people know about this. But they delete the thing once they probably make the switch. But at the beginning, from the upfront, they tell people they're not going to share the information. But once they start sharing the information, they delete the part. I mean, who has time to constantly checking things that they already read already? Okay, what I mean by that is that when the part where they said they're not going to share their information, you think people's going to go back to that all the time? Right? Once they read it once and they probably say, oh, this is the way they are, so I could share my information with them. But they never know that what I mean by share information is when they have an issue with themselves, they thought of suicidal thought, they call the help hotline to tell them their issues. All right? Once they read that fine print once, they probably don't go back to read it again. The mental health hotline deleted it as soon as they make whatever deal with those researchers. All right? So those people, every time they go, they don't read that thing. Okay, personal identifiers, including name and phone number. What? Phone numbers were removed before the message were analyzed, according to Shout. Okay, according to Shout, which says the message had anonymized, but still, you know how people look at how Bazir could track certain things. You think people with high sophisticated thing will not be able to trace those kind of things? All right, let's see here. Okay, but data used in the research include, quote, full conversation, and quote, about people's personal problem according to the study. Part of the research was aimed at gleaning personal information about the texters, who their messages, such as their age, gender, and disability, to get a better understanding of who was using the service. Corey Kreider, a lawyer and co-founder of Foxglove advocacy group for digital rights, said giving researchers access to the message raised, quote, serious ethical question, and quote, another quote, trust is everything in health and in mental health, most of all when you started by saying in your FAQ, the individual conversation cannot and will not ever be shared, end quote, and suddenly move to train AI on hundreds of thousands of full conversation, you've left behind the feeling and expectation of the vulnerable people you serve, end quote. She said, quote, it's particularly sad because this can set back proper consent research by years. Lack of trust in this system can discourage desperate people from coming forward, end quote. Others raise concern that people using the service could not truly comprehend how their messages will be used when at crisis point, even if they were told it was going to be used in research because of their vulnerable state. About 40% of people texting the helpline are suicidal, according to Shout, and many are under the age of 18. My goodness. Claire Millet, 30, who used the service for support with anxiety and eating disorder in 2019 and 2020, said she had no idea messages would be used for research. Quote, my understanding was that the conversation will stay between me and the person I was messaging and shouldn't go any further, end quote, she said. Quote, if I had known then I can say for certain that I still will have used the service, end quote. My goodness. Malay said she, quote, absolutely understood, end quote, the need to conduct research in order to, quote, make service better, end quote, in cases where people could give their informed consent. But she said using conversation from a crisis helpline raised ethical concern, even when names were removed, due to the nature of what's being discussed. Yeah, that is true. Quote, since I've been following the Sussexes and I've been reading a lot of different things, one of the things the people in the UK should be saying is that the government needs to be tested too, because I think some of the laws and stipulation that they're doing are causing people to have those mental issues. What causing those people to have those mental issues? The focus should not only be on the people who are calling the help hotline. They should look in generally what's causing people to have those mental issues. Because from the outside, looking in, I could see the nature of things, the way the country is operating, the way people in certain position, to make laws, are causing people to have mental issues. The thing should be reversed. What's causing those people to have those mental problems? It should not be focusing only on the people who are having issues. What's causing it? This should be something they should look at. Cause and effect. And when you're at that crisis point, you're not thinking, quote, will this information be used for research, end quote. You can spend it in any way that makes it sound good, but it feels like they are exploiting vulnerability in a way. I think so too. Phil Booth, coordinate and Med Confidential, which campaign for the privacy of health data, said it was, quote, unreasonable to expect a young person or any person in crisis to be able to understand, end quote, that their conversation could be used for purposes other than providing them support, end quote. Quote, there are clearly reasons why Shout might need a certain data. No one is denying that. It's these other users, they are just not what people will expect. As I'm reading this, one thing came to mind. I remember in one of my old videos, I was talking about how the monarch wants to be in every side. They're trying to pretend to be, I think I was talking about the Republic, where they were, I think it was one of those organizations with the name Republic, who was asking information about Harry's charity, how he spent his money. I think it was in one of those conversation where I was saying I don't trust the Republic, and I think they still part of the monarch. They're just playing different side to pretend to be helping people. So I think what happened here with the shout, what they doing here, it's to sneak in to get another perspective of different people, how they are feeling towards the monarch. That way the monarchy could readjust itself to fit to the mold of some of the issues that's going on here. Not only they're selling the information to whatever third party to do whatever research they're doing. Those type of research is almost the same thing that happened to Bredex in one of my old videos where I was talking about, I never put it live, I think. I have it, but I never put it live because I was going too deep to so many issues that I could not prove. So I never made it live. But it's a way of them to also adjust the government. These are all analysis to fit so the people who are in power could adjust themselves to fit to certain narrative that the country is feeling. So when those people are calling, not only they have their own personal issues, they're trying to get help, but at the same time, this is an extra form of information for the government, the monarch, and anybody in power over there to fix itself. That way they could maintain power. I don't know if I make sense, but I think that's what it is. Because look how Bredex happened based on false information. So those type of information, those people are good at analyzing those issues to see how many people's calling for this same topic. Why this? Why that? That way, okay, so if so many people's feeling this way, therefore we must act this way. Because the firm, the monarch, is a freaking robot. I've always said that. They act like a robotic thing. They have no feeling, no nothing. So this is an extra information for them to adjust themselves. That's the way I see this here. And quote, he added that it was, quote, misleading, and quote, plainly wrong, and quote, that Charity had told users that their individual conversation will not be shared. Quote, if you make a promise like that, you should stick to it, end quote, he said. Shout was set up in 2019 as a league of heads together, a campaign led by the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Prince Harry aimed at ending stigma around mental health. The goal of the service is to provide round-the-clock mental health support to people in the UK, many of whom struggle to access overstressed NHS services, who can text a number and receive a response from a training volunteer. Mental health innovation state that a key goal is to use, quote, anonymized aggregate data to generate unique insight into the mental health of the UK population. Quote, okay, how long is this? Okay, I might have to stop in between because I need to move on to another. Okay. We use this insight to enhance the service, to inform the development of new resources and products, and to report a trend of interest of the broader mental health sector, it says. I mean, come on. If this was the case at the beginning, you should have said so. You should have been upfront with people. It's just the fact that you tell people the conversation is going to be kept privately. And then this is what you're doing afterward. I mean, oh my God. I think this thing should be dismantled as much as it was there to help. But if this, the people cannot feel safe to share their information, it's not safe to have it. My goodness, it probably make it even worse. Okay, I just read that. When service users first contact Shout, they are told, quote, this is a confidential unless we worry for your safety and must tell someone to keep you safe, end quote. They are also sent a link to a text with a link to the website and privacy policy with the message, quote, and using the service, you confirm acceptance of your term and consent to processing of your data, end quote. However, previous version of the Q&A made a promise that has since been deleted. All right, so they delete the other thing, meaning people who text the service in the past, including those whose messages were used in the research, are likely to have read information that was later changed. Yep, this is the thing that I was saying. Not everybody's going to read it every time they send it. They might read it the first time, but if they're using it over and over again, I don't think they're going to read it again. That's the thing I was saying before. An archived version of the helpline website from March 2020 shows that in a FAQ section, users were told, quote, "We anonymize and aggregate high-level data from a conversation in order to study and improve our own performance. We share some of this data with careful selected and screened academic partner." I'm telling you, if Harry was there, this would not happen. I think he would say, no, don't do that. Okay, but the data is always anonymized. Individual conversation cannot and will not ever be shared. All right, so this is the thing here. They will not share it. In late spring 2021, the Q&A section was updated and the promise about individual conversation removed. The privacy policy was also updated to say that, as well as sharing data, it could be used to, quote, "enable a deeper understanding of the mental health landscape in the UK more generally," end quote, opening the door to a broader range of users. The Imperial study published in December 2021 involved analysis of, quote, "entire conversation." What? Manually and using artificial intelligence, according to the paper, to improve the service. It had 3 goals: predicting the conversation stage of messages, predicting behavior from text and volunteer, and, quote, "classifying full conversation to the extrapolate demographic information," end quote. And the thing is that if they're doing all of this, it seems like the people who's at the end of the phone when those people call for help, the trainers, the professionals, looks like they need training. Why do they need to do all of these predicting and this and that? So you should be open to anybody who's gonna call and be able to have an answer for them. So why are you trying to do all of this? This is what I was saying. It's like a freaking robot. How are you gonna predict something before it even happened if the person doesn't call? I don't know. Anyway, demographic information. It seems like what I think is happening, that it didn't say it yet, but what I think they're doing here, the volunteer, well, if it's volunteer, they don't pay them. So there's somewhere they're trying to cut costs here. So where they don't have to use a human being. This is what I think here. And from doing that, they're sharing those information so they could create some sort of a blueprint when people are calling to, based on their, I guess, the topic of their conversation, what issues they're having. For instance, if they're thinking of suicidal, or if they're thinking of harming themselves, like physically, but not suicidal to the extent, or they're thinking of doing some crazy other things. All right, so they're trying to map out things. So when certain people call, it could be the same people. They keep on calling for the same issue, so they could have a blueprint for that person. So no, they don't have to talk to a human being. That's what I'm getting here. They didn't say it, but this is the thing that I'm getting here. To cut costs somehow. Okay, for instance, scanning messages for things such as a number, as numbers or mention of school life, which might indicate a user's age. Okay, quote, "Looking forward, we aim to train models to classify labels that could be considered directly actionable or provide a direct measure of conversation efficacy. For example, a key future aim is predicting of texters' risk of suicide." Okay, what researchers? That's what I was thinking here. That's what I think they were trying to do, instead of using a proper human being. So they're trying to create a blueprint. But with that, the third person who's gonna listen, who the caller didn't think who was gonna listen to, is having access to this. This is where the problem is. This is where the problem. So what they should do, maybe the person who is listening to the problem when the first caller call, is to generalize. Don't give the name, don't give information. So after each call, this is what they should have done, instead of using the exact information of the people, even though they removed the information, is for the mental professional who was listening to the caller, is to give a summary of what she just listened to, without giving the name, or information of anybody, give a summary of what she just listened and give her, how will I say that? Her, I guess, her humble opinion how this could be solved, and then hand this summary to the researchers. This is what I think should have done. Okay? Summarize the call, okay, the discussion, and then that's it. Do not give the exact conversation. This is what I think that should have been done. All right? Data was handled in a trusted research environment. Nothing can be trusted with these people over there. And the study received ethical approval from Imperial, which said the research could fully comply, and quote, with, quote, stringent ethical review policy. I mean, ethical is out the window the minute the person had called who thought this was going to be between two people. So where is the ethic in this? Ethic had gone out the window the minute the information was shared. Okay, so I don't know what they're talking here. It's trying to downplay the thing and provide crucial insight. Nah, ethical is out the window. But Dr. Sandra Lytton-Gray, Associate Professor of Education at University College London, an expert, everybody's an expert over there, my goodness, on the effect of technology on children and young people, said that as a research, she saw, quote, a lot of red flag. Yeah. The minute the thing switch went to a second hand, the ethical is out the window. All right. With the second data used, including that parental consent was not sought. That's the thing here. Because those phone hotline was supposed to be confidential, to give anybody free access to speak their mind without any precaution, even if the parents did not consent it, right? But the minute another person, a third person or fourth person, hear that conversation, that ethical is out the window, all right? Because the whole point was to give kids who had whatever mindset they were in, to give them that confidential, just come and talk to me. I'll keep it private, but that is out the window. Okay, Dr. Christopher Burr, an ethical fellow and expert in AI at the Alan Turing Institute, said responsible data analysis could bring huge benefits, but he said not being clear enough with users. Yeah, that's where the problem is. With users about how sensitive conversation would be used to create, quote, culture of distrust. Yeah, that's where the distrust happened. The unethical behavior happened. The minute the conversation stopped between the caller and the health professional who was guiding them, and then it goes beyond that. That's where the ethical behavior is out the window. Okay, quote, they ought to be doing more to ensure their users are meaningful and informed about what's going on, he said. I think at this point, I don't think, if they know about this, I don't think they're going to use it anymore. The concern about Shout follow an investigation in the U.S. by the news site Politico that exposed a data sharing partnership between an American mental health charity and a for-profit company. There it is. This is where the thing here, they probably sold the information. But the UK will never have known this. Will not have known this if this kind of information did not come from the US. Shout is the UK counterpart of Crisis Text Line US, which faced intense scrutiny earlier this month over its dealings with Lorry AI, a company that promises to help companies handle their hard customer conversation with empathy. The minute you go with for-profits, everything is out the window. Nope. Wow, they're using charity to do this kind of thing. Oh my God. Okay, let's see here. After detail of the partnership with Lorry's came to light, Crisis Text Line cut ties with the organization, and UK users were assured that their data had not been shared with Lorry's. That also remind me what happened. I'm telling you, there's going to be much bigger thing happen after this. Now that they know the information here, what's going to happen here? It remind me of what happened with the data with Facebook. What happened with Facebook? This is what I think the next step is going to happen, where they had Parliament before the Brexit. All right, before the Brexit came, they had a huge thing happen with Facebook and all of that. And I think I have a video about it. Did I put it? I never put it live. I never air it. I never air that. That's when I was thinking of doing what's the other thing where you could pay for information? I don't know if I should do that because there's a video that YouTube decided not to monetize it because of the information in there. I mean, my goodness. As well as working with academic researchers, Mental Health Innovation has formed partnership with private bodies, including Hive Learning, a tech company. Hive chose clients, including Boots and Deloitte, worked with Shout and to create an AI-powered mental health program that the firm sells, sells to companies to help them, quote, sustain mass behavior change as, oh my God, these people just cannot do things manually. They want to go freaking robotic on people. And this is what the firm is all about. Turn, any futures to a robotic kind of behavior. So they're turning everything else into robotic. It is owned by Blaham Shalkett, quote, the UK leading digital venture builder, end quote, which was founded by Shout trustee Charles Mendenhall. Okay, when you see things for profit, forget it. Okay, Mental Health Innovation said, quote, no data relating to any text or conversation, yeah, right, all right, has been shared with Hive, and that its training program was, quote, developed with learning from our volunteer training model. The only thing I could think of, at least the thing that Harry is dealing with, better up, we already know that you have to pay for the service, right? So that you already know, if what you said with them is going to be shared with other people, they could be sued for millions. So those other one, they're trying to get people to come out to talk for free, and then they sell the information. This is so unethical on so many levels. Okay, in a statement, the charity said that all data shared with academic researchers, including Imperial, had detail including names, oh my God, including names, addresses, SADI names, postcode, email, oh my God, email addresses, URLs, phone numbers, and social media handles. Remove or claim it was, quote, highly unlikely that it could be tied to individual. Nah, they probably have it. No, if Buzier could go and find some other information, tell me how those people who knows those coding will not be able to do that, please. It says seeking parental consent before using the data in research. My goodness, quote, will make the service inaccessible for many children and young people, and quote, adding that it understood that texters and desperate for immediate help may not be able to read the term and condition that we send before they start their conversation with us. But that was in quote, by the way. But the privacy policy remained available for them to read at a later stage. If they later decided to withdraw consent, they could text. I mean, who wants to do all of this? This is the thing here. At the moment, when you're in need of something, people don't have time to read all the roadblocks. All right? These things, the roadblocks that they're giving these people is just to cover their asses if they decided to call them to court. Okay, LOFA to the helpline numbers and will have their information deleted, a spokesperson said. Victoria Hornby, Mental Health Innovation Chief Executive, added that the database built from shared conversation was, quote, unique, end quote, because it contained information about people in their own words, and could unlock huge benefit in mental health research. My goodness, this is the thing here. They make people come forward for free and then they do all this stuff. My goodness, the ethical of this is completely out of the window. Okay, she said the promise about individual conversation never being shared was in the FAQ rather than the actual privacy policy, and had been removed from the website because it could be, quote, easily misunderstood. And this is where they're trying to sensationalize the nonsense they just did, due to there being, quote, different interpretation, end quote, of what individual conversation meant. A lot of them are in quote. We then want it to be misunderstood as we change it, she said. The Information Commissioner's Office, the UK Data Protection Watchdog, said it was assessing evidence relating to child and mental health innovation handling of user data. A spokeswoman said, quote, when handling and sharing people's health data, especially children, data organizations need to take extra care and put safeguards in place to ensure their data is not used or shared in any ways they will not expect. We will assess the information and make inquiries on this matter. My goodness. So you have Charles being under investigation, and you have this regarding the Cambridges. I ended up reading the whole thing. This is sick. It should not be. All right. It's the part where children data are giving away to third parties without parental consent. Who's making money from this? Yeah, that's exactly that. All right. Huge breach of privacy and confidentiality, which is a plague by consent issues for children and consent in general. I don't see how the data can be used giving this malfeasance and research. All right, I'm not going to read any more screenshot because I read the whole thing. Okay, trivialize and stigmatize mental health just like the royals and Britain, Prince Charles and Camilla. Let's this the couple who famously had extramarital affair while Charles was married to Diana, then alleged working with Arthur Penny Jr. to portray the people's princess as, quote, unbalanced and unfaithful wife, suffering from a borderline personality disorder, who had compelled Charles to return to his true love. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they try, it could be a way for them to, when they come across this type of people, all right, they know how to prepare themselves. This is what it is. They're not doing this to help people at all. It's to enrich themselves because they don't know how to be like Harry, for instance, how to be natural with people. They could only go by, certain orders. This have to be this, certain things have to be a certain place. So when they come across certain people, they already have a blueprint for how to behave with those people. This is what I think is happening here. All right, so let me go to the next tweet. So I ended up reading the entire article. Next tweet. All right, let me see if I understand this correctly. You're mentally unstable if you're honest about your own trauma or pain, but you're healthy. If you're devoting huge amount of your time to the spreading of gossip and lies about total strangers. Got it? All right, and you have always said, quote, wishing them good mental health, and quote, let's leave it at that. Never try to rationalize the irrational. Okay, don't you know that the proper thing to do is to repress your pain and anxiety down deep inside and silently scream as you passively aggressively take your personal pain out of those around you. What kind of healthy, stable, happily family do you come from? They just, throwing shade of with that charity, the thing that I just read. Or in the case of the Rangers, no one around you, not even remotely close to you that you've never met. Okay, they're so confused. Anyone that can talk through their trauma to heal themselves, then possibly help someone else do the same is angelic. There is a lot of weirdos that needs to be ignored. Okay, it's a cognitive dissonance for me. All right, so that was the tweet. It was related pretty much to that mental health article that I just read. Next tweet. Okay, there's this mental health helpline founded by Royal Share Users Conversation. Experts have serious ethical concern over Shout, a service backed by the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. All right, so she's archiving that, and I just read it, so I'm not gonna read it again. Okay, let's read the comments. Okay, Low at the Guardian using Royal instead of naming William and Kate. All right, they are choking because they cannot pen this on Harry and Meghan. Yep. Notice how they don't use the names of the royals in question in the headline like they would have if it was the two that escaped. And the thing is, like I said, things will not be approved if they didn't approve it. Based from what we know with Meghan's lawsuit, where they were giving information to the, to Mel on Sunday.
What it means is that a senior figure in the royal household, according to Mail on Sunday, was passing him information in order to help defeat the Duchess's case. All
right, so they have to approve that, because if they are the patron of it and they're running it and all of that, you think all the other people will go ahead and say that and give people's information? All right, so this is the same thing that's carrying over. All right, let's this here. Queen Consort pushing back with cash for honor scandals, saying to KP, you did it as well. Okay, so keeping in line with leaking culture of their principles. Yep. All right, this is so shady and disgusting. People call this line with a sense of trust to only find out that data is being sold to a third party. Yep, that's the thing here. This is the same behavior. Okay, just don't be surprised. Okay, when you see one thing happen, don't be surprised it morphs to something else. Okay, the blueprint. Like I stated, that the Royal Charity business is about generating health for themselves. That's exactly that. Okay, when Harry left that foundation, the moral compass and the checks and balances at KP of his brother and his wife, and basically of that whole royal family, went to the shredder. Yep, I think I said at the beginning of this video. If Harry was there, he will not approve that. Okay, OMG, this is horrible and such a breach of trust. Okay, you meant that they sold the information for money. Probably that. All right, as a previous user of SHA, you are aware of detail sharing, etc. Personally, don't have a problem with the message content being used for certain research. Please, okay, anything that can help is really needed. You think, please, that's this has to be definitely a troll to make it seem like, look at it, 7 followers. No, when people call, I never call any of those hotline, but I could see or I could feel that when somebody is in a dire need and feel this is the only option, all right, they're not gonna go through all those roadblocks to read all of those nonsense and all of that. Let's see here. That can help and really needed. They pass no identity detail on here. I get that some may be worried though. Okay, LOL, of course. There's this person here. Having experienced mental health services, this does not raise serious concern. My God, can we trust anyone these days? Okay, I like to know who gave permission to share messages and why users aren't warned. Yep. Okay, that's the thing here. And most people will not know about it in the UK if the US then do that research for that to find out that it's going to a for-profit thing. Yeah, remember when the KKKambridges tried to keep Harry and Meghan from getting positive coverage from the Shout engagement back in 2019? Y'all got it. All right, let's see here. The squad have receipt. What is this here? Mental health helpline funded by Royal Share users conversation experts have serious ethical concern over the Shout, a service backed by the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. All right, so I thought she was going back to 2019, but this is more recently. Okay, I particularly remember the disgust look on her face when Egg mentioned Harry and Meghan. Damn, they must hate Harry and Meghan deep. I mean, I don't know. Hate is a very strong word. If you dislike somebody that much when they mention their name, that must be very deep. And the thing is that when you look at Harry, when she first walked into the royal family, Harry opened the door for her. How could you hate somebody who opened the door for you? I don't understand this. She is a baggage for God. Okay, she's definitely at the root of the entire problem. The hate originate with her. Something too. Okay, Harry, wait, what happened? Meghan, oh, another corruption. That fits perfectly. I need to bookmark this for the book. Okay, there's me here. But the F, why would they do that? People are not going to trust them. Yep. All right. Harry left, and Lord, this family's dirt cobweb that has been hidden is now coming out one by one. Yes, have all the glory. Okay, we claim the spotlight, all yours. Yep, that's the squad with the GIF. Okay, or you dusty of this GIF. Yes. Okay, spotlight. Okay, spotlight, headlights, neon light. Common knows where you live, don't she will? And came out. Skull and Bone added again. I see leaking is their trademark. Yep. Okay, so glad the story state that disclosure policy changed in March 2020. Yep, that's after Harry left. Okay, does it make it right? It doesn't make it right, but that give you a time frame that Harry and Meghan was no longer there. Okay, they can pen that with Harry and Meghan. All right, this is the thing here where they always use Harry and Meghan for their scapegoat. So they make sure to say March, okay, disclosure policy change in March 2020. So Harry, I did say Harry will not approve it. This kind of thing that's going on. It had to go from the head. All right, whoever's on top, okay, will have to approve it. Even when Charles is saying he didn't know about the cash for honor and all of this, he's the top of there. Nothing will not bypass him. All right, so they have to give the approval, the royals. All right, they could fool people all they want, but this is the way it goes. Okay, does it make it right ethical though? What was the vision of this organization? What will motivate someone to share intimate detail of your vulnerability? Imagine if your partner or therapist did this. Okay, people are already dealing with so much. Yeah, the thing is that the Cambridges have no feeling for whatever. All right, so they see the loophole here where they could make money. This is what happened. As soon as Harry left, they did that. And Harry have said this. He is there to serve the people. This is why he says service is universal. He doesn't care his HRH and all of that. But the others, they see money only. Okay, you know all. Okay, you know all it will take is for them to check in with their charities now and then attend some board meeting, find out what been developing, learning about standard math, exceed change that will show they are invested and also prevent catastrophes like this. Okay, comma, witnessing comma. All right, so this is it. Let me finish with this. There's the laugh. Man, comma knows everybody's address. After Randy, Andy, and Tampon Chuck, Willie, and Kent, it's time to shine, boo-boo. Okay, don't forget the Met opening investigation about Charles Guy and the Saudis. I mean, the thing is that the way the UK is, I don't think you're gonna see much. Okay, you're not gonna see much, but at least it brought this to light. Sad to say, you're not gonna see much because the people who are in the position to do, to arrest, to dissolve things, to do the ethical thing, pretty much, they're not in the right place. All right, so all those people who's on the position, the police, the that do get was it is it IPSO, all of this, these are the group of people. They're just gonna turn a blind eye. They're gonna pretend they're doing whatever investigation, but nothing is gonna come of it, sadly to say. KKKambridges has been working some serious overtime to catch up with the royals and their abuse of Meghan and Harry. Watching comma unfold like. K had my first session with the life coach Stephen from Better Up. Harry is the chief impact officer who assured me that all conversations are strictly confidential to put me at ease. It's not initiative, but the ethic and value the initiative represent and whether they align with yours. Okay, personal value system. If they don't, you haven't thoroughly researched. You haven't researched it. Industrial psychologists call not a better fit. Okay, this is what happened here. All of that, Meghan and Harry affiliated projects are perfect fit. They have the same synergies. I've never heard of a scandal. Sweet, there's this. All right, so that's that. Let's do a prayer. Prayer for what? Let's keep the protection. Let's do this one. All right. Christ be with me. Christ within me. Christ behind me. Christ before me. Christ beside me. Christ to win me. Christ to comfort and restore me. Christ beneath me. Christ above me. Christ in quiet. Christ in danger. Christ in heart of all that love me. Christ in mouth of friend and stranger. I bind unto myself the name, the strong name of the Trinity by invocation of the same, the three and one and three of whom all naturally hath. Creation, eternal Father, Spirit, Word, praise to the Lord of salvation. Salvation is of Christ the Lord. All right, this is for Harry. All right, wherever he goes, he get all of that Christ, the shield to protect him from all of this craziness. But what's it called? Who chase him out? Chase him out with all of the protection. All right, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to help support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate. All right, those who have donated, thank you.